Welcome to the Gamers Inn. Come on in, pull up a chair next to the fire. It looks like you've had a long journey. I'm your host, Jocelyn, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, Ryan. Hello, Ryan.
Hello, how are you?
I'm all right, and I want to apologize to everyone in our live audience for the delay. Totally 100% my fault. Decided to have a shower before the show, and then collapsed on my bed and proceeded to pass out. So, I'm here, I'm awake, huzzah, yay, let's do this.
It's all good. See, we were late yesterday starting, so as we described in our Patreon hangout, we are implementing new measures. Top
Yes.
men are on it.
By top men, he means super awesome Alpha Geek people finding a space in their schedule, super awesome A Move Garrett finding a space in the A Move schedule to move to Wednesday nights. So
Mhm.
I'm super excited because it means I'm not going to be totally exhausted for the show every week. So you can find us starting not next week, but the week after. I don't know the date off the top of my head, but it will be Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Much more reasonable, much less passing out.
The 17th of June, and so 7 p.m. and as we discussed, we're not going to get into it, but it's going to be an awesome slate of content for you folks on Wednesday. You can come for the Gamers Inn and stay for the Zombies Ate My podcast right afterwards. It's going to be great.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to it. So,
Mhm.
without further ado, let's jump right into what we are playing. So, Ryan, what have you been playing this week?
So I've got a smorgasbord of excellent
I don't think
gaming.
that's how you say that word.
You don't say smorgasbord?
Smorgasbord?
Oh, we'll get into that later, though. We'll get into that later. I think that's how it's pronounced. If I've learned anything from our game night last night, it's pronounced smorgasbord. So, for those who think I'm making fun of other countries, it's not me. It was their fault. It was the people who made Magicka 2. But before that, I've been playing a bit more Witcher 3.
I actually bought that tonight.
Oh, you did? Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so good.
I
So you
bought
bought
it
it on
on
PC then?
No, I bought it on PlayStation.
Ooh,
I decided it was going to be the thing I play on my couch. So,
good.
yeah, I was planning on playing tonight, but I fell through a little bit with the sleeping. So,
Yeah.
but I'll play some this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. It looks really cool. Everyone has just said such great things about it. I really need a game that's gonna like really suck me in. And after watching more of the trailers and hearing all the praise, I was just like, all right, you know what? That's you, Witcher.
hmm I think it will pull you in, and for those who are saying, "Oh, console, it's a," and we'll get into this mentality later as well. All teases tonight, but there are going to be people who are like, "Oh, you have a PC. Why wouldn't you play it on PC?" I've actually been playing with a controller, and I feel like the controller support is really well implemented. So I don't think you're going to have any issues playing that on your console.
No,
Um,
and I mean, I needed more titles on my PlayStation anyways. I need to get away from the computer because I sit in front of my PC, all day at work. Then I come home and I play Hearthstone and I play, WoW and whatever else. I needed to get away from the studio. I needed to get away from just being in front of my computer all the time. So, really, I needed a console game, and I think that The Witcher was a really good choice because it's got so much content. I'm really gonna enjoy it. So.
yeah, and the
And I
best
mean,
part, it's mature too. So.
well then, because you can't play mature games on PC. That just makes no
No,
sense.
well, that's not what I'm getting at. I just, it's like a lot of games we play these days are just so, they're so targeted at a general audience. Like even Dragon Age, like it's a mature title, but a majority of that game could be seen by people of any age.
Hmm.
I mean, the violence is, besides the exploding corpses and all that fun stuff, like it's really just the 1% of nudity in that game. And it's not just nudity in The Witcher that makes it mature, it's the dialogue, it's the
Hmm.
themes, it's the type of quests you're going on. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a quest where you're dealing with a man who's been nicknamed the Bloody Baron, and that's not even the worst part. There are things that you have to investigate that turn out to be quite jarring. I don't think I've ever played a video game. I'm trying to dance around it because I want you to experience it, then we
I
can talk
know.
about it
Don't
later.
spoil
I'm
anything.
not spoiling. Everyone thinks when I dance around things, I'm just gonna like accidentally fall into the
That's because
circle
you're
of fire that
Ryan,
I've.
and it's kind of what you do.
Well, this time I'm not going to fall into the spoiler pit of death. All I'm saying is that the stuff, the game is based around a lot of these little investigations for missions. It's not just about going to a point of interest and being like, oh yeah, that person that I was searching for, she's dead or she's gone missing or oh, there she is. No, it's more about getting to a place and being like, okay, what's going on? You turn into investigation mode and it's like, oh, I found this ripped piece of dress. Oh, it's got blood on it. Okay, well, that means she probably headed in that direction. And it's a progress, right? As opposed to just being this linear thing, you're actually encouraged to investigate, and it's really cool. Even when you're searching out monsters in the game, and you're finding corpses of the prey that it's eaten, or maybe you find the corpse of a monster you're trying to search, and the Witcher, Geralt will actually lean down and start examining the body, and it gives you like a dialogue option. And it's like, okay, what do you want to investigate first? And he's like, okay, I want to investigate the stomach. And he'll like look at the stomach and be like, oh, well, it looks like the ribs have been exposed, which means something's been gnawing on it for quite some time. And it goes down, and it's very Batman like, where he's thinking out loud as to what he's investigating. It's really cool. But that game's huge.
Yeah.
I haven't even begun to scratch the surface. Actually, you know, in Skyrim, when you first open the map and realize this is a big world, but there's only one of those worlds.
Hmm.
And in The Witcher, the opening area is like, this is a decent size. And then you go to the second area and it's like, holy crap, this is probably twice the size of Skyrim. When you open up that
Wow.
map and you realize how big it is and how empty it is, because when you first open a map, there's nothing there except maybe your quest marker and the nearest city. And as you start to play, it starts to add stuff to your map. And eventually, now that I'm a couple of like 5 or 6 hours into the second area, the map is just riddled with points of interest and question marks and quests and towns. It's overwhelming. I almost have to put
Great.
the controller down and be like, breathe, you know?
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we touched on earlier that I grabbed it on PlayStation instead of PC. And, I was kind of thinking about because I know in the chat room, I think it might have been Azax was saying, like, oh, consoles suck. You should have got it on PC. Um,
That's that behavior we all look
my
forward to.
Yeah, and my PC, I mean, it's still good. It's still, runs a lot of stuff, but it's also like 3 years old now.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, it's not meeting specs for a lot of games right now. Like, if I tried to run Witcher on it, like, I couldn't do anything else. Like, I wouldn't be able to, like, stream Witcher or anything. So I'm just like, you know what? I think that the console in this case was actually a better pick for me. I'm getting to the point where I have to seriously consider upgrading my computer and possibly like using the doghouse to play the games and having a separate streaming rig or, like just getting a new computer altogether. But, point is like my PC is not really what it used to be because when I bought the doghouse, it was kind of a Jocelyn didn't have a lot of money. Doghouse worked with me and we kind of put something together, not necessarily from spare parts, but it was from older stuff. Like it wasn't cutting edge. It wasn't one of the, ones off the website sort of thing. They did a custom build for me out of stuff from, like a generation or two back. So even though like my PC is 3 years old to me, it's from stuff from further back. So I don't know. I feel like the console was actually a better pick. I don't know. I know you probably don't know a whole ton about like specs and stuff, but just from my
Yeah.
very very basic explanation of what my PC is like, do you agree? Do you think I made the right decision?
I think you did. I mean, I was at a point last year where I had a choice. I could buy an Xbox One because of the Halos, or I could buy a new video card because I wanted to play Dragon Age Inquisition on the platform that I wanted to play it on, which was the PC. And that wasn't like an elitist thing. It was just I played Dragon Age on the PCs. Sorry, I played all the Dragon Ages on PC, and I wanted to continue that with my saves and whatnot. And I played it with a controller the whole time. If I'm playing a PC game, I'm usually playing with a controller. I know,
Mm-hmm.
blasphemy. But I had to buy a new video card, I knew I needed to because in order to enjoy the game for the way it was meant to be played.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
I
and
have
I
a
have a good video card, but I find that
mhm.
the rest of the system kind of struggles to keep up sometimes.
Yeah, I've noticed that with mine as well before I got the new video card. Right now I'm sitting on a 970, which is the best bang for your buck card right now. Um, so I'm kind of sitting at the top, and that allows me to play every new game that comes out. I have to turn a few settings down because my CPU isn't quite up to snuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have a lot of RAM. I think I have like the bare minimum for most games these days, which is 8 gigs. And the
Yeah, I
C
think
yeah.
I have 8 as well. I have 8 gigs. I think my processor's like 2.8, I want to say.
Hmm.
That sounds about right for me. And then my graphics card is a 670, I think. NVIDIA 670 GT something, some. You
Yeah,
can
that's
tell
not
I'm
bad.
way totally into this whole building my PC thing.
Well, I sort of I have like good university buddies who kind of like pushed me into the world of PC parts and they really helped me. And I don't even begin to understand. Like I subscribe to an email as NCIX and I subscribe to their newsletters for sales. And occasionally I'll flip through it looking at like the prices for CPUs and RAM because I think that's the next step for me is to get
Hmm.
some new RAM. And I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I know enough to put in the things that you just shove into the slots and click.
Exactly. I know
That's
how to
as
do
good as
that
I get.
too. I can open it up and I can pull stuff out and I can go plug
Mhm.
stuff back in.
I had to have a chaperone when I installed the new CPU last time. I think I was I had roommates, so I was like, I'm gonna wait till you're up on a weekend so we can install this new CPU, even though I've been waiting months to get this thing in there.
I feel like there was
It's
something
overwhelming.
I can't. I googled how to replace it, like how to switch it out. And as soon as they started talking about like thermal glue or something, I was
Hmm.
just like, okay, whoa, no, I'm out. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way I'm gonna start gluing things
But
together.
see, it's actually not that bad when like back in the day, it's funny for those people who are hardcore PC hardware folks, when they hear of thermal paste and replacing CPU parts and stuff, it's not
See, thermal paste. I didn't even get it right. I called it glue. This is
it's
what I'm
not
talking about.
but the thing is in the past it was like you had to put that stuff on there, but now it is easier. When I had to put my new CPU, and like I said, I had a chaperone, I didn't have him do it. You literally take it out of the case, you pull the old one out, you take the heatsink off, you pull the old one out, you get the new one. It's pre-pasted. It's got paste on it. You don't even have to touch it. Now, if you had a problem with the CPU and had to reapply that thermal paste on there, that's a different story. But you just chuck it in, put the heatsink back on, turn your computer on, recognizes the new hardware. It's very different now. Everything literally is plug and play, minus your new motherboard. I think there's still like a connection between your motherboard and your Windows software. So if you were to replace the motherboard and put and anyways, I don't know. That's where my knowledge starts to, and I'm sure there are people listening to this that are like gonna send an email in and
Here are all the reasons that you shouldn't ever touch the guts of a PC again.
but consoles are great. I've always stood by consoles as the throw a disc in, make games work, play. You
Yeah.
know, there's no fuss, no muss. It's just it works, and that's always been my philosophy when it comes to console gaming. But I do like to mix it up, and right now I'm sitting on the fence of whether I buy Batman for like $100 on my PS4 or
Mm.
pick it up for 40 on PC. And that's the other thing too for us Canadians, like it comes down to money as well
It's
because I
so
can go out
freaking
and buy something.
expensive.
It is crazy, and PC games are cheaper.
Hmm.
You know, you could look at it on Steam, and sometimes it differs from like 10 to 20, and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Just
Um,
hang on, hold that thought because, well, chat room has been telling us that our video's been freezing, and that's fine because that's probably Twitch. But apparently, Alpha Geek Radio might also be messed up, so we should probably just pause the show for a
huh,
second while we try to figure out if we're all crazy on Alpha Geek too.
okay.
So, which is weird because I don't have any issues. I'm not dropping any frames. I'm not 3600 kilobits per second uploading, apparently, says XSplit.
The audio's fine on Alpha Geek.
Is it? Okay.
But the video, are they watching on Alpha Geek or are they watching through Twitch? Because the embed on Alpha Geek might be
Oh, maybe that's
messed.
what they're talking about. Oh, could be. But again, if the embed on Alpha Geek obviously is pulling from Twitch, and if Twitch is being janky, then Alpha Geek is going to be janky. I thought they meant the
Yeah,
audio only stream, the mobile
for
stream.
those fine folks, still the audio. Oh yeah, no, that's an ad playing. I don't want to see Insidious 3. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Twitch is being poop.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
you guys are having issues with Twitch, just stick in the Twitch chat and load up the Alpha Geek audio. Um, and yeah,
Yeah, you guys can do audio only if the video's not working. Won't take it personally, promise.
we'll give them a second, I guess, to switch over.
Okay, so that was the end of Witcher 3 talk, so we'll just start right up with
Sure.
Nintendo, I guess.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Oh wait, they want a link. Just a second.
Oh, Leo says he has no problems.
Oh, Jordan's got it.
Oh, thank you, Jordana.
Yeah, I mean, to each his own. It might be Twitch. It might be people's individual connections to Twitch. It might be
Yeah.
us pushing it to Twitch.
Yeah,
Bucks
I
and
don't
drink.
think it's our connection to Twitch because I haven't dropped anything, so I think we're good. But yeah, I promise tomorrow to load all of the stuff onto the YouTube. So if you do miss the video, then you can head on over to YouTube.
Yeah. Are you guys sad tonight? Seem a bit down. Are we?
No, I think we're trying to figure out what's going on with Twitch. So I think that's this is serious technical difficulties. Jocelyn face.
We've been maybe we've been too serious. We're gonna have some fun in a bit here. Don't worry. The Witcher is just very serious business. It's a mature title, folks. It's a mature title.
Okay.
There's boobies.
What?
What?
Oh man.
Seriously, don't
Okay.
play that with the kids.
So let's just jump right back into this. So for Ryan, are you going to edit that out in the audio version at all?
What, the boobies?
No.
Am I not allowed, am I not allowed to
Technical
say boobies?
difficulties.
Oh yeah, of course. I split the file, so I'll know what's in
Okay,
there.
cool. All right. Well then,
thought you were like-
if you're ready to go, then we should start it back up again.
Contractually, we're not allowed to talk about that. So, yeah, I'm ready.
You ready? Okay. All right, everyone, we are back. Sorry about the technical difficulties. So, Ryan, why don't you tell us about Nintendo's plan for Splatoon?
Yeah, the chat is having a blast. Nintendo has launched this game. We've talked about it. I've talked about it a lot. You guys are going to be sick of hearing about it.
I was
but
going to say, you've done all the reviews, all the playthroughs, all the everythings. You
I
are
know.
just in love with this title.
Chat room, no, Ryan nipples. We've been through that before. They do not glow. We've confirmed.
Focus, Ryan. Focus.
Focus. All right, look at these lovely things. And you're the only one that can see it unless you're like you're still in the Twitch chat. But I got these amiibos, these Splatoon amiibos that I've been playing with. They're the best amiibos that I've seen in a
Really?
very long time.
They
Yeah,
look
they're
pretty
the best.
cool.
Yeah, and there's the squid. He's definitely the best.
Okay,
Um,
the squid's pretty cute.
The part about the squid is that you have to buy the 3-pack to get it. And that's not unfortunate for me because I was able to pick it up. But like other amiibo articles on the net, there's a big issue with trying to get these. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to. I just wanted to show you guys that. But I've actually been pretty impressed and confused on the way Nintendo's been supporting Splatoon.
Okay.
You know, when it launched, people were saying it's got 2 modes, it's not enough maps, the weapons, there's one per level up, so there's like 20 or 25. Like that's not a lot of content for a primarily online shooter.
Mhm.
And Nintendo's sort of just been sitting in the corner like going like, yeah, I know that, right? We know that. You know that. We know that, right? Yeah, we got this. Don't
Sitting in
worry.
the corner,
Yeah,
being all creepy.
that's
Yeah.
what Nintendo does, really. They just sit in the corner and be like, "Yeah, you want a Squid Game? Here's a Squid Game," and they just kind of like hand it to you.
Spread your
And
ink, man. Spread
yeah,
it.
make sure you get in the corner. You nasty. Get in.
Okay, okay, okay.
Uh,
This has gone too far.
yeah, sorry. I was. It was interesting that back and forth, and it's like, woo. Anyways, they've actually each week since launch have sort of been on Twitter saying, "Hey, guess what? At 10 p.m. tonight, this will unlock in the game." Last week it was a new map and a new weapon, which I got to play since then, and the new map's fantastic, and the new weapon is inspired by the NES Zapper gun. Did you ever play with like Duck Hunt back in the
Oh
day?
yeah, the orange. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I'm making my duck hunt gun hands.
yeah. I just Duck Hunt, man, it's so good. Um, so yeah, they've unlocked this weapon and it's free and it's just there. You boot the game up and the new little newscast comes on and it's like, hey, guess what? There's a new map available and a new weapon. Go nuts. And then this week they said, hey, guess what? There's a new weapon and it's like it's literally a paintbrush, which is freaking awesome. I can't wait to try it. It looks like a lot of fun. But here's the point. Nintendo is supporting this game with weekly quote unquote updates. I think they're just unlocks on the disc because there's no download going on. I could be wrong. Icon Master and I were going back and forth on whether that was the case, trying to crack the code, see what's going on. So, but the problem is that Nintendo isn't like getting ahead of the criticisms people have with this game and that there's not enough content. They're literally just putting this stuff out there. And they have said that this summer will include a host of new content updates for Splatoon. They said they would have a summer of updates. And most people took that as like, oh, we'll wait and see. But so far, Nintendo's actually been pretty good with their
Hmm.
promise. And it comes off as weird to me. In a day where, they're announcing season passes and downloadable content months in advance of launch. It's interesting to see Nintendo take this laid back approach, and to some, it's been considered as a wrong move, right? But you're kind of damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. That was one of the points I was going to make on Twitter, but decided to save it for the show. And that, like, if they had announced all this stuff ahead of time, people would be like, well, why don't you just release it right at the start? And if you do what they're doing now, it actually gives a constant feed of content to the game, keeping people coming back each week, which is what you
Hmm.
need to keep a multiplayer community vibrant, right?
That's
Like,
true.
what do you think about all this stuff going on?
I can see both sides, I guess. Like, there's not a whole lot to, I guess, the design of a new weapon. Like, and I mean, I say everything I'm about to say, like, I'm not a game designer. I'm not like I don't work for Nintendo, and we say this all the time, especially on like Angry Chicken when we talk about new features and stuff. Like we don't actually know all of the work that goes into like designing a new weapon for Splatoon might take months. I have no idea,
Hmm.
but it seems like in the scope of a game, a new map and a new weapon not that much. Like, it's probably stuff that they could have just included in the main game, which makes you wonder, well, why did they hold it back then? If they can, it's the whole day one DLC kind of argument,
Hmm.
right? So, I mean, I agree with you that yes, they need something that keeps players coming back. Because, I mean, otherwise, if you have everything available all at once, you
Hmm.
can just kind of like, as a player, go in, try everything, be like, okay, yes, I love the duck hunt gun. I hate the paintbrush. And then you've kind of figured everything out. You use what you want to use, and you just play the game how you want to play it, and you probably use it up very quickly. But if you have to wait a week to get the paintbrush, and then you have to wait a week to get the duck hunt gun, then eventually you're in the game, playing more often, keeping the servers active, all that kind of stuff. So I can see why Nintendo does it. I don't necessarily know if it was the right idea,
Hmm.
but I think it's great that they're constantly putting more into it. I think a little bit more transparency from Nintendo might be cool, actually. Or like if they did something like, say this week they put out a survey and we're like, okay, here's the top 4 ideas that we're kicking around as like, what do you guys want as the next DLC? Have like a community vote, and then a few weeks later be like, okay, here's that thing the community voted on. It's all done, shbla, in the game. Something like that I could see, because then it's like, okay, now they're, prioritizing resources based on what players want to play, and, doing something like that feels a lot more for the gamer as opposed to a marketing strategy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd be
And
really happy with something like that. This feels a little sketchy, but I'd be happy if there was some sort of community input, I guess, to show like what the development cycle looks like, what Nintendo's actually doing. Just make it feel a little bit less ishy.
yeah, I think that's a great idea. And Nintendo's not opposed to that. I mean, and not that I called them up and they're like, yeah, we can do that, sure. The
Just
way I
right
said
now,
that,
you like wrote
it's
them a
like I
little
just
email as I'm talking. Oh yeah, that's a great idea, Nintendo. What do you think?
just texted Nintendo of America, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Well, I'll take it up with Japan. We'll see how it goes." But they've done this with Smash Brothers, where they've opened up a website to say like, "Okay, here's our idea of character DLC. Let's open it up to you. Everything's okay. Just say whatever you want as a character, and we'll take a look at it." Obviously, not everybody's suggestion will be made into a character, but there was some actual traction with that, where there was a campaign around getting Banjo and Kazooie in the game, and as we know, those are rare characters and owned by Microsoft, and Microsoft's head of games was basically like, "Yeah, that's a great idea. I'd love to see Banjo Kazooie in Smash Brothers. That's fantastic."
Hmm.
And it's that transparency that's interesting, um as Axe in the chat room is saying that none of this sounds like Nintendo's MO. It's like if if we went back in time and brought somebody like from 5 years ago to the future and said, this is what Nintendo's doing with their platform right now in terms of online play, new IP, shooter, amiibo. They've gotten into the plastic business, uh, and they've done some stuff online, not everything. That would be a similar comment. It's like, no way, that's what they're doing. And they're a company that are pivoting, like changing, making changes, and coming up with plans that are different from the standard Nintendo MO. I'm not saying it's like Xbox Live type proportion stuff. Like they've got a long way to go. They are slow movers, but when they do move, it's calculated. They're by no means like Apple movers, like the way Apple moves in order to like take advantage of market trends like
Hmm.
the iPhone and
Yeah,
iPad.
yeah.
They're not like that at all. But they do move and pivot in a way that allows them to remain somewhat competitive.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think that we could see something like, here's the Splatoon minute at our Nintendo Direct for E3, and reinforce that summer of content plan, because they've kind of mentioned it once, rightfully so, in the Splatoon Direct before launch. And right now it's sort of just been like a steady stream of weekly, like, here's what's coming tonight kind of thing.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I think E3 will sort of show us what Nintendo's got up their sleeve, and I'm actually really excited that they're seeing Splatoon as a service as opposed to just a one and done type game,
That's
and they're
true.
gonna. But like I said, most of this stuff appears to be on the disc. That doesn't mean that they're like doing day one DLC. It just means that they're locking content to keep it fresh week to week. And I find myself looking forward to checking in on the game every Friday and playing on the weekend with the new modes and maps and stuff. Um, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to E3. I think Nintendo's got a good year ahead of them,
Hmm.
uh, especially if Zelda comes out in the next year. That'd be fantastic.
Cross your fingers, right?
I want Zelda amiibo, man. I want Zelda, like a true to life. Like this is the type of amiibos they can do when they're working with just like designing an amiibo based on characters and not having to worry about what the trophy looked like in the game to begin with. I
Yeah.
think it's good. It's a good path.
So, quickly, we're going to touch on what we played last night for game night, which I have to admit, I had more fun in that game than I've had in one in a while. Like, I mean, was it Hellraisers? Hell Riders? What did we play last week on
Oh,
PlayStation?
Helldivers.
Helldivers.
Hell Riders.
I don't know.
Sounds like a good game. Is that like I let's imagine what that game would be. I'm pretty sure that game would be just people on motorcycles and they all have mustaches and they
Obviously,
use
obviously.
chains to hit each other.
Yeah, that sounds
That's
that sounds right.
that's a real game.
My point was, same sort of idea, especially with the whole friendly fire thing. But I don't know. I'm always more of a fantasy girl than a sci-fi girl. I love both, but if I have to choose, I fantasy every time. So this is wizards, not space marines, and the sense of humor in this game, so freaking funny. So basically, you have this squad of 4 people. You each pick a person. You can. I found the combat and stuff was a little bit more complicated. I liked it more, where you
Mhm.
could like combine different elements to make different spells and stuff. I mean, complicated, hard to pick up at first, especially when all you're doing is aiming at your other people in your party. But
We tried.
but still really a lot of fun. So this is Magic 2 that we're talking about. And just, man, the most fun I've had in a long time.
Yeah, and that goes back like call back to the way I said smorgasbord because the way that they do the voiceover in the game is it's all subtitled and then they have like it's not fake Swedish
It's like
because it's
Simlish. Like, so I
well,
can't remember who it was in the chat room, but they, like,
yeah.
nail on the head. It sounds exactly like the way the Sims talk in, like, SimCity, The Sims, like, all of that. That whole Maxis Simlish
Mm.
language is, that's exactly what it is.
Well, it feels like it feels like that, but mixed in they like, oh, it'd be really funny if he said squirt a banana muffin like right
Yeah,
here.
every once in a while you have actual English words that don't fit, but
But are
somehow are
hilarious.
perfect.
Because I
Yeah.
think near the end of the stream, like we played for about 2 hours, and near the end of it, we were just falling over our chairs with the VO and the way this one guy, it was like the guy, the older man who was talking to us about squeegee boards. He's like squeegee birdie birdie, and he get
Like
I
the
don't know.
Swedish chef.
Yeah, I really what I want to do is I want to make sure we put that archive on YouTube because just to see the fun we were having
Hmm.
killing each other and it's very easy to kill each other. Imagine this, folks. It's all magic based, but imagine everybody just had a supercharged like Iron Man beam at all times at that they could access. But alongside that, they could have like flamethrowers, ice throwers, water throwers. Like you're not limited. You're not really limited
Well,
because you
and then
can
you could have
combine
like
those.
fire lightning and like
Hmm.
ice death ray and just crazy, crazy, crazy stuff.
And you'd be and the game like sets up these weird chains where of course Kearney who supplied the game for us he was nice enough to donate one to a patron as well and
Yes,
we were
thank you
playing
again for that.
yeah for sure that was super awesome because this game really wasn't on my radar the first one kind of fell past I played a little bit of it but I think this one improves on the first one's mechanics and to be honest, the developer kind of ran the first one into the ground with all the DLC. Like it was constant. It's
Mm.
like, hey, now we're gonna do a Vietnam one. How's that sound? That sounds terrible. Why would we want to go to Vietnam? Um, but in this, it's like he was in the back. He was sort of like cleaning up, but in the sense of like healing us, like just focusing heals on us, and that's a beam of green. But me, being a lover of the death ray, would be constantly using the death ray. And every time you cross the stream, something happens. Sometimes it would benefit you in that if someone used the death ray and another type of ray, I can't remember. Is there two types of ray? Maybe they, anyways,
Well, I think
they
it
would
was the death
combine.
ray and the healing ray. Those two
Yes.
together made the black hole.
Yeah, they made a black hole, so everyone would just be like, at the start, we were wondering, well, why are we exploding? And then near the end, it was like, oh, black hole, and you'd all just scatter, and then it would explode, and it kind of punished you, but also rewarded you at the same time. At first, it was
Well, if you
punishing
were
us
good
because,
enough, then
yeah,
you could place them properly and use them to destroy your enemies.
yes.
If you're good enough.
It's not that we weren't good enough. We were having a lot of fun just fooling around. Occasionally we'd get our act together and progress, but it never got to the point where we were frustrated, I thought. Because really, once someone started to get frustrated, they'd be like, it was usually me, I'll be honest. I got a couple times, it was like, okay, guys, come on, let's pull it
I
together.
feel like Jim got frustrated with me a couple of times.
You did. And it'd just be like, all right, let's stop killing each other. Let's pool our resources. Let's push through this. And then we could dick around in the next area for a little bit.
To
It's
be
fun.
fair, the only time I was actually actively killing people was like right at the very beginning.
Oh, and at the end
Then I
too, when we're
stopped.
pushing each other off the cliff, there's a force push move.
I was
Or
forced. I was
yeah.
forced into that because you guys kept pushing me off, and I was like, all right, that's it. I've had enough.
So what? If I'm gonna use magic to push people off a stone bridge, that means you got to do it too?
Exactly.
Okay, no, I was just making sure. It was a lot of fun, and it's a funny game. You know what it reminds me of? It's got the same sort of like humor level and laughter causing abilities, otherwise known as comedy, um, as that Battle Block Theater game we were playing. Like
Yes.
that
Oh my God, yes.
tickled the same funny bones, right? In a way that was really cool that you don't see very often.
Yeah. Oh man, we should go back and play that again.
We should, to be honest. That game was a lot
I'd
of
forgotten
fun.
about that game. See, this is the problem. There's too many freaking games. I'd forgotten about that, but yeah, we should go back and play that again.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but the bigger titles like Witcher 3 and Splatoon, they always like linger in my brain. But the smaller titles that come across that I really do enjoy, maybe even more so than the bigger ones because they're so pick up and play and put down. They always like sort of go by the wayside. They're easy to forget about. Like Magic 2 is not right now it's fresh in our minds, but who knows next week. I hope that's not the case. But like Battle Block Theater, Ori and the Blind Forest, I still haven't finished that. I'm loving it. And what was another Dungeon Defenders 2,
Yeah.
Killing Floor 2, all these fun games that we had a blast with. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing more of it. Magic 2 is just a barrel of monkeys.
A barrel of monkeys, literally.
That's how
Monkeys.
fun it is.
Huh?
Well, I don't think there was a barrel of people in it.
And I didn't realize you could get it on other platforms. I was just messing around on the PlayStation today looking for something to play before the show. And it popped up as a new title. And I was like, oh man, I could play it on here too. I don't
Say
know what
what?
I would like better, having it on PlayStation or having it on PC.
Well, I was playing. Well, we have Helldivers on the PS4, and you have Magic 2 on the PC. I was playing with the controller, and it was perfect.
Yeah, I was
I would
playing
not
with a
play.
controller too. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
I think Jim was the only one playing with a keyboard, which was really frustrating because we'd be like, "Oh yeah, just press, like AAB, right trigger or whatever," and he's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, that's not helping, guys. It's not helping."
And could you imagine trying to describe to somebody the controls of this game when they've never played it before?
Yeah, it
It'd
was
be impossible.
confusing the heck out of me the whole time.
But eventually you get it, right? It kind of clicks at a certain point. But like trying to understand that it's you have because you're in a controller, you have your four spells. Yeah, it's four spells that you have access to, and then you can hold L to switch to your other four. You can queue up spells to combine them, but you can also apply the spells to your sword, yourself, and then other people with the ray. Applying it to the sword is like just allows your sword to do extra damage. Applying it to yourself can like get rid of status effects. So if you're wet, which happened a lot, we were wet like a good amount of the time.
All the time.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. And, whenever you got wet, the crowds would start showing up and you'd lose electricity, which would shock you. Not a good way
It
to
took
get rid
me
of
a
crowds.
really long time, a very embarrassingly long time actually, to
Hmm.
realize that I couldn't actually lightning when wet.
Yeah.
I was like so many times trying to figure out what the heck was going wrong because I was just like, I don't understand. I'm queuing up lightning. I'm not lightning, and now I'm dead. And what the hell's going on? And turns out I was zapping the crap out of myself.
It's conductive, like
Yeah.
you gotta burn yourself to get rid of that wetness. The moistness, as some people say. Um
It's
and
very
then you
moist last night.
yeah. Oh man. It was embarrassing. Um and then you move on and you get poisoned and nobody's happy. So
Yeah.
it was so much fun. You guys need to pick that one up and suggest it for patron game night so we
Hmm.
can play more with you guys.
And yeah, check out YouTube because I'll put the video. I'm sure I have the stream. Yeah, because we did it in two separate parts. We did the hangout and then we did the game play stream. So
You should just be able to
I'm sure
archive.
that I have those. Yeah.
Cool.
All
I like
right. So, Ryan and I really appreciate your continued support of our show, along with the support of our sponsor, Doghouse Systems. You can use the code TheGamersIn to upgrade to an SSD when you purchase a new gaming rig. So, head on over to doghousesystems.com and get your order on. That brings us to our topic of the week this week, and we are talking about optimism and video games. So, basically, we had a few announcements this week. We had XCOM 2, we had new heroes in Hearthstone, and we had Fallout 4. And the internet reacted as the internet does. Some people excited, some people not excited. And I know, Ryan, this in particular really rubbed you the wrong way. For me, I
Yeah.
was kind of just like, yeah, the internet's the internet, you know. And I mean, especially with the Hearthstone news, I am on the negative side of that bandwagon. So maybe I'm part of the problem. I don't know.
No, you're not. You're not part of the problem. And I don't want anybody to think that what we're about to talk about is throwing you under the bus. I'm just making people aware of something that doesn't bother me, but like I hesitate to say, like this show has been really weird tonight, and saying rubs me the wrong way continues it in a weird direction. Like grinds my gears is probably copyrighted by like Family Guy, but anyways, you get the idea. I'm a positive person when it comes to video games. I've been pretty public about video games being a source of entertainment and fun, and they will always be fun no matter what. And I steer away from experiences that aren't fun. So if I'm not having fun with a game, or like League of Legends, like I don't think I could have fun with League of Legends. I know some people can, but I can't. And I respect that game and people who can have fun with it. But this week is sort of pre E3 week, and we're getting a lot of announcements. And this is the point in time where I have to check my optimism at the door, but also not become a negative Nancy, we'll say. Like the internet likes to be full time. So when these announcements started popping up, I'd see people's opinions of this is really cool. You know, I'm not really excited about Fallout 4. I'm not really into Fallout, but I'm excited that there's a new game announcement, and it looks really neat. And then the things that really bother me were the sort of passive, like I've like unsubscribed from podcasts where someone says, "What did you think about this game?" And they just go, "Meh," and they move on. Like they don't back up their opinion in whatever way, as if meh is like a solid foundation of an argument. And that's why I said, like, I definitely don't believe that you do that, Jocelyn, in the sense that with this
Oh no, I
Hearthstone
am
news,
so opinionated, and I would tell you exactly why I don't like this Hearthstone
yeah,
announcement. But
you can start with your argument as meh, but you don't ever stop. That
yeah,
comes off as a little bit like that's passive aggressive, right? It's just it's not very, and like I've unfollowed people who do that. I unsubscribe from podcasts because it's kind of infuriating. Um, and right now in the game industry, there's a lot of stuff to be upset about. Like season passes costing $40 and getting next to no information on what they are, and companies expecting us. I had this conversation on Twitter today with James and Lou, and I was like, yeah, that's a solid argument. That is shitty. And yes, calm your tits, Ryan. Thank you. It's not very often.
Ryan, don't read the chat room. Smack.
Sorry, I know.
Focus.
But anyways, long story short, like this stuff that we're about to talk about is good news. It's not,
I'm super excited.
day one
I watched the trailers right before the show. XCOM looks really cool. Like we talked about the design on one of the aliens being like a cobra. Super cool. And then the Fallout announcement, I'm actually really excited about it. I've never played a Fallout game before, never been excited about the franchise. It never really drew me in. And I watched that announcement trailer and I was just like, shit, I want to get on board with this. This looks like a lot of fun. Especially because I mentioned to Ryan, if Call of Duty has taught us anything, it's that you put a dog in your trailer and win. So,
But see, that's the thing is, and with Fallout 4, we'll start there in the sense of the dog. The trailer, the trailer just showcases this game that looks very story oriented, and the world of Fallout lends itself well to tell a great story. You know, it's post-apocalyptic, set in, the world is stuck in the 50s. It appears as if we're going to get some backstory as to how the war started. The dog companion, I think, I never played the first two Fallouts, but a buddy of mine who has would probably tell me that, yeah, the dog played a big part in the first two. I know, I think you had a dog in two, I was hearing on another show or something.
Honestly, I
But
have no idea. Like that's what I mean.
yeah.
Fallout was just never on my radar, which is funny
Mhm.
because I mean I like Bethesda, but for
Oh
whatever
yeah,
whatever
it's
reason, Fallout was just not a thing for me. I think for a while I just had no interest in this kind of post-apocalyptic stuff. Like I mean, there Fallout, Borderlands, like all that kind of stuff just was kind of meh to me.
mhm.
And it might just come down to the whole, like I mentioned before, like I like fantasy over sci-fi. So give me a Witcher, give me a Skyrim, give me a big open world with magic and elves, and I'm in. Um, but yeah, this kind of stuff didn't used to appeal to me. Now I'm really starting to like it, but it didn't used to be my thing.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of post-apocalyptic and sort of zombies, right? And
Well,
and
yeah,
this game,
zombies.
and I don't want to scare you off, but this the Fallout world has its version of zombies as you saw in the trailer. They're more the mad rabid dog type zombie mans
Are they
running
fast or
around.
slow?
Oh, they're fast. They were in the I think there was some in the trailer. There was like in a shopping market or something. But the cool thing about
Oh,
Fallout
maybe I
4 is that
stopped it
it's
too soon.
you might have missed it. It was really quick.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it's at the portion where they're like cutting in between pieces, and when I see this trailer, I'm like, yes, a next gen Bethesda RPG. I'm excited. I'm super excited. And some of the, we don't want to like nitpick the criticisms of the internet, but I was curious about what you thought. A couple people were sort of criticizing the fact that the graphics didn't look that great. Did you feel that at all?
A little bit.
Mhm.
The graphics didn't stand out as anything spectacular, but I don't know. I wasn't really.
I sort of
I was
noticed it on the
underwhelmed, I guess.
textures.
Yeah, the honestly on the dog, I was just like
Yeah.
that dog's not as good as the Call of Duty dog.
Well, the funny thing
That
is,
Call
like,
of Duty dog though.
when you expand the scope of a game, like, and make it this open world, it does sort of like constrict how you can display the world, right?
Hmm.
But then you look at games like The Witcher 3 and the way that game looks and what they've been able to get out of that engine, and then look at Fallout 4, it's kind of like, is this game going to be able to live up? It's because The Witcher 3 set the bar super high for current gen only RPGs that are open world.
Hmm.
And you know, to satisfy the internet, you've got to it's like high jump. You got to keep doing it. You got to keep going above that bar, man. Like if you don't,
It's
then
like
you prepare for ridicule. Sorry,
were
I'm
you
in
a high
a
jumper? I was a high jumper, and yeah, you
no.
totally got ridiculed when you didn't hit that bar.
Yeah, well, for me, I think I did like gym was never my my good suit in class. Like
No,
I
you don't
no,
say.
I was a big math guy, right? So when it came to gym, it's like for some reason I had a fascination with
Nerd.
baseball. But with high jump, I think I'd have to bring the bar all the way down. It's like it won't go any lower. It's like, all right, I'll try it. And I just, I couldn't like, what was it? Yeah, it's like hump in the air, right? When you jump, it's weird. I could never do it. Like I'd jump and then I'd like tell my body, it's like, okay, this is the point where you like bring your legs over the bar. It's like, no, Ryan,
Yeah, you
that's
had to like go backwards and like snap your shoulders up and over, and then that flipped your legs. And
but I'm not very graceful, especially in the air. If you see me fall lately, it's not pretty. But anyways, no, this is just a basic trailer, and the feel and the setting of it is really hitting me. And I'm like, and the fact that there's rumors that this is going to come out in October, like of this year,
wow.
which I think is a stretch, but consider this, they've been developing this since 2011 when Skyrim came out. So,
I'm super excited because I mean we were just talking a couple of weeks ago about how we weren't even sure what we were excited about for this year. I mean we've got another Batman, another Assassin's Creed, but it was pretty standard because it feels like we always have another Batman, another Assassin's Creed, so you don't get quite as excited about them as you would before. So I'm super excited about this potentially coming out this year. Like, holy crap, maybe that's why we've had so few games to look forward so far is like or forward to so far is because they just haven't been announced yet, and all of
yeah.
these big titles have just been really kept under wraps, and we'll see them in October, November. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, because XCOM 2 is coming out in November of this year. So, and it's PC only,
Hmm.
which is different from the other titles, which again was something that people latched onto with this game. Is, oh, it's PC only. Oh no, but hey, sometimes you have to make sacrifices to make a good game, and XCOM was originally a PC only title, and I really enjoyed the controller support. And I was just reading that they probably won't have controller support at launch, which isn't a deal breaker. It's just it kind of sucks, but
Yeah, well, the
it
price you
looks
pay for
really
November, right?
exactly. I would much rather have this game in November than wait a year for controller support and console versions. Sorry,
Yeah.
folks, but that's selfish probably. But you have not played XCOM, correct?
Not yet. I own it, but I haven't played it yet.
And you've seen the gameplay and sort of like
Yes.
the
Yeah.
the graphics from the original one and the enemy designs, and we were talking about a pre-show in that XCOM 1's enemy designs, while cool, were very steeped in sort of established alien
Very safe.
look. Yeah, very safe. Like you had your normal little aliens, you had your tall men, you had your Hulk characters, you had your weird squid things did this. Not Splatoon, guys. We're still talking about XCOM. But in XCOM 2, the way they've set it up is they've made the bad ending in XCOM canon. So the
Oh.
second one takes place
So
after the aliens
basically,
have taken over the world.
oh, cool. So yeah, I was gonna say. So basically, they're saying like you failed in XCOM 1, and
Hmm.
we're gonna run with that. That's interesting because I mean, like 9 times out of 10, well, more than that, I would say, people tend to make the "you saved the world" ending canon, and they go from there. And it's a new threat, a bigger threat, the threat behind the original threat, or however they decide to go about it. Very rarely are they just like, well, you screwed that up, and here's the consequences.
You sure screwed the pooch on that one, Commander. Uh, but speaking of dogs, I don't think there's a dog in this one, which
No?
is
Well,
they
then forget it. Pfft. No
there's a
dog,
robot.
no Joss.
There's the in terms of aliens, you kind of, as a fan of the first game and sort of reading into the alien designs of this one of the sequel, they've sort of explained, well, those main frontline dudes, the little aliens, they've sort of combined their DNA with human DNA to become the more taller, aggressive looking aliens that you saw in XCOM 2, the one that was sort of like stealthed and was taken out with the sword.
Yes.
And it's really cool to see how the aliens have evolved since the first game. And there's that snake alien.
The snake alien is so cool. So
Yeah.
cool. At first, I thought it was like human body, snake head. And I was
Hmm.
like, okay, yeah, I can get behind this, but they're not thinking that far outside the box. But still, the cobra head was really cool looking. And then all of a sudden later on, they show like, oh no, wait, not actually human body, but like full on snake body, but with like human torso almost into like snake tail, and like going around a person and being all like, I'm gonna kill you with my cobra face.
Yeah, and
It
I
was
guess
super cool.
those guys, I guess, are like the tall men, not in their human suits. Like that's, I guess, what they
Ah.
look like in the first game, if they were, but they're not that they look like that in the first one, but that's sort of the lore behind it, and so on and so forth. They've really put a lot of thought into it, and I love me some XCOM. Like if we're looking at like Fallout 4 being like post-apocalyptic awesomeness, XCOM 2 is kind of in the same direction.
Mm-hmm.
It's post-apocalyptic but futurized because the aliens have taken over, and that's
Yeah.
all alien tech that we're looking at in those trailers.
It's really interesting how kind of that whole apocalyptic, whether it's aliens, zombies, or war fallout, it's really become like so prevalent. Like I mean, Last of Us is another. I guess that technically was kind of zombies. What's another? Oh, like viruses.
Yep.
Like viruses wiping out the population. But just that whole theme seems to really have become prevalent in the last 5 years, maybe? Would you say?
Well, I think it's because like optimists are making video games now, and like they want to make sure that people aren't like thinking the future is going to be just awesome in rainbows. So they want to make sure people are prepared in case it does go to shit.
I
So it's
see.
like,
So they're
let's do
training me essentially
yeah,
for when
just
the
in
world goes to
case.
shit. Got it.
Now okay, perfect. The first place I'm going is Texas. Where does The Last of Us take place with the giraffes? No, it's San Francisco. Never mind. I don't remember. Oh, that could be a spoiler. Not really. I don't know. There's animals in that game. Suck it up, folks. But I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
XCOM 2. And the fact that that one is for sure coming out in
Hmm.
November is spot on, and that's by the Firaxis guys. So if you're a big Civ fan, it's by the same dudes.
Yeah.
So and gals for that
Yes.
matter.
So, can we just quickly touch on the Hearthstone news? Because,
Yes.
and I feel like, I mean, and stop me if I'm falling into your trap of the,
No,
okay.
I'll let you know. I'll put up the red flag. Where is it? I don't have a red flag.
So basically, we got an announcement. Shit, was that today? No, yesterday.
It
Yesterday.
was this week. Yeah,
Yeah.
yesterday.
Basically saying that Magni Bronzebeard was coming to Hearthstone, which was super exciting at first until you realize basically it's a skin for the existing heroes. Fine, great. Like people have been asking for this for a long time to have alternates. So he is the alternate skin for the warrior hero. So you don't have to play as Garrosh anymore. You can play as Magni if you buy him, and he costs $10. And with that, you get the new hero portrait. The hero power is the same, but there's a different animation. So there's a big hammer that comes down and drops when you armor up. There is, let's see, a card back. And I'm not 100% sure if that card back is specific to Magni. I didn't look at it that closely.
It is
Or
the Magni card
is
back.
it? Okay, so that means that there is going to be a card back with each of the 9 new alternate heroes that they're going to introduce, which means basically I'm going to buy them because I collect card backs and feel the need to have
For
all of
speed.
them.
No, wait.
Um, Shout out to Azax again for helping me get that Tespa card back. But anyways, so you get sorry, excuse me.
Wait, what's Tespa card back?
It's the really cool Dalaran Flame card back. It's like the purple one with like the swooshy on it. And you can only get it from, usually you have to be, it's like university students on Hearthstone
Oh,
teams. But they gave them away at Heroes of the Dorm. They gave away the Tespa card backs. So I got mine through that way.
cool.
But anyways, they're very, very hard to get. It's like, yeah, not a lot of people have them. It is awesome. Awesome. So I think probably I will definitely get the alternate hero for some of them. I don't know. The fact that they tie a card back to them makes me really, really want them. $90 is a lot though. But even then, the price point is not my biggest problem with this. I think if they had done $5, it would have been a no-brainer for everybody. $7, some people might have been like, that's a little bit much, but it would have been, I feel like 7 to 8 is more in line with like MOBA skins. And even then, I don't think that this necessarily, even with all the voice work and stuff, I don't think that this is on par with a MOBA skin because I mean, I'm thinking in Smite, like all of those skins, first of all, they're 3D. They have to do all the animations and everything else.
Hmm.
And like by that, I mean, obviously, I know they don't animate each and every skin differently, but like the skins have to move and work with all the animations. They can't stretch and look funny. And then you've got all the animations of the powers are normally different. So, like instead of the Kraken coming up for Poseidon, you have a giant shark coming out of the ground or whatever. Like I feel like there's a lot more to MOBA skins.
Yeah.
At least in the world of Smite, which is what I'm more familiar with. So I feel like $7 to $8 is a better kind of price range. 10 is really steep. 10 takes it from just a no-brainer to there are very few, like Azax keeps calling me the 1%. Um, but yeah, like I feel like Blizzard often does make everything twice as much as it should be. Like they do
Mm.
it with mounts in Warcraft. They do it with
Well, I think
skins
it
and
turns
heroes.
and I saw that comment too from Total Biscuit, and Azax is also crediting Total Biscuit as well on Twitter. I saw that and it's like, yeah, actually that makes a lot of sense because the first thing I said when I was in the shop for Heroes was like, "Whoo, these are expensive,"
Yeah,
the
and
skins and mounts.
the thing
But I
is
think
too,
it's
what they do is they put it in real money. And I realized when they were talking about the $10 price point for this new Hearthstone hero,
Hmm.
I have no idea how much a Smite skin costs in real money because it's all in their currency, which is gems. So I know that the premium skins are 600 gems, but I don't know what the conversion between dollars and gems is. I have no idea. I just buy big bundles and always have gems available, so I just go and purchase what I want to purchase when they release new heroes or new skins. Or I guess new gods. Um, but yeah, I'm not actually 100% sure how much Smite skins cost in real dollars. So, I mean, there is that level of transparency, I guess, that we get with Blizzard, which makes it easier to critique their pricing. But yeah, even then, like I said, all of the pricing and what you get for your money, that's not what bothers me. What bothers me is that the skin is
Hmm.
automatically animated. So to me, that basically takes everybody who took the time to grind a hero to get 500 wins on ladder and kind of smacks him in the face and goes, "Oh, you spent months getting 500 wins to get an animated hero? You could have just paid $10." And I
Right.
mean, granted, your hero power still isn't golden. You don't get the golden, like, outline around your hero, but the hero is animated, and to me that's the thing that really stands out is the animation on the hero when you get a golden hero.
Hmm.
The only other thing that really stands out is the rogue with the weapon, because when you equip the weapon's gold, and same with the paladin and the shaman. When you use your hero power and you get a token, you get golden tokens or totems. So I mean, some of the classes are more obvious when they're golden, but for the majority of them, the thing that automatically triggers your brain to say, "Oh my god, that guy, has a golden warrior." It's not the border, it's not the like gold around the shield, it's the fact that Garrosh is animated.
Hmm.
So I kind of wish that the the heroes, that the skins came not animated, and that there was an animated version once you got your 500 wins. Like, it really bothers me. I don't have any heroes with 500 wins. I have no gold heroes, but it still really bothers me. It's like the
Yeah.
same as in WoW. I think I was talking about it on the Angry Chicken Reddit today, and the kind of the parallel that I drew was, do you remember when I was doing Long Strange Trip?
Yes. Yeah.
So basically, what Long Strange Trip is, for any of you who aren't familiar with WoW, there are world events, which are things tied to real life holidays like Christmas, Easter, summer, Halloween, all that kind of stuff. And there's a set of achievements for each event. You have to get all the achievements in a given year, so it literally takes a full year. Like, there is no shortcut you can do. No way to grind it out any faster, because you just have to wait for the event to happen and then you have to get all your achievements. So it takes a full year, and the reward for that is a mount.
Hmm.
It's a pretty cool mount, but they also sell mounts that are way cooler than that for 25
Yeah.
bucks. So it's like $25 seems expensive, but then when you compare it to the fact that, one of what was one of the coolest mounts in the game back in the day when it was first available, like when you compare that to what you can buy for 25 bucks, it's kind of like, why would I wait a whole year when I can just pay 25 bucks and get something cool? It's like, why would
Yeah.
I grind out 500 wins when I could just pay 10 bucks and get something animated, you know?
Yeah, and see, like this, what we're discussing is not even remotely related to the issues I've been having this week with these exciting announcements, whether they're good announcements or bad announcements, is that that's a fully formed opinion, that may be on the side of disagreement, but it's still like it's fully formed, and I agree with you when
Oh,
I
I
saw
have
that.
fully formed opinions.
And I know, and that's
Yeah.
something that, I really enjoy about the Gamers Inn is that we both, have fully formed opinions. If my opinion on something was meh, I wouldn't bring it up on the show because it's like no one wants to hear Ryan say meh and then move on to the next topic. Like
Yeah.
that's a waste of time. But with this hero thing, I'm not big into Hearthstone, but I do appreciate it and I play it, every here and there. And the way I see and have always seen Blizzard's sort of buying mechanics with Heroes, World of Warcraft, and now Hearthstone is that this is a collector's thing. This is the Blizzard's amiibos, right? You don't need them. They cost, a pretty penny, but they're collector items. They don't do a whole lot. Like this squid thing here cost me, like the whole pack was probably like like I think it was $40 plus tax for three of them, which is still is a deal in the sense of buying three on their own. But what you're getting is not the end of the world. It's I think it's 20 levels per amiibo, and they are existing levels. Um, so with this Hearthstone thing, it feels to me like it's a collector's item. For people who really hate Garrosh and want an alliance hero, they can pay their $10 and play as Magni. Maybe they really
Hmm.
love the warrior class but are sick and tired of hearing Garrosh.
He's a
And
dick.
he is kind of a dick. I think
He's
they had a whole
terrible.
expansion about how he was a dick.
They did, yes. There was a whole
Expansions.
thing about how much of a dick he is.
Two expansions where he was
Yeah.
just a complete and utter dick.
Yeah.
So I think that, and again, like I really do believe it's a collector's mentality, and I think that's why Blizzard prices their stuff double because they don't want people like everybody walking around with a $5 Magni. They want a select few people walking around with their $10 Magni. And some of the points you're making about the animations and stuff, I think those are little details that Blizzard might be like, ooh, yeah, we had thought about that, but we didn't know people would be so up in arms. So
Hmm.
that's where the discussions, the public discussions, comes in handy, especially with Blizzard, because they are listening. And if we make a big enough stink in a positive way, um, they'll listen. But if you're, volatile and whatnot, not saying we are, but I know how the internet works. Some people are volatile. Um, if you do that, they're not going to listen. So I think expressing your opinion, like Jocelyn has on these Hearthstone heroes, and saying like, "Look, for collectors, it's a great idea." I was curious though, where'd the $90 figure come from? Have they already said that they're going to do alternate heroes for every
Well,
class?
yeah, they are going to do
Okay.
yeah. So basically, yeah, you've got 9 heroes, $10 a pop. I think they're probably going to do a bundle around Christmas. I think they're going to go with like um yeah,
Like
45
50.
bucks, five
Yeah.
bucks a pop. Get them all together, probably around Christmas.
You mean like a season pass?
Kind of, yeah.
That's I think that's fine, but I think if you look at it more as like a collector's mentality and that you don't need it unless you want it, then it becomes a little more reasonable. But cheapening the experience of getting 500 wins, which is astronomical, 500 is crazy, especially with one class. That is a serious offense and maybe something that Blizzard needs to address.
Hmm. And also, they were talking, or chat room, sorry, chat room was talking earlier about how Hearthstone is a big money grab and everything else. And I don't necessarily agree with that because the thing about Hearthstone, they had no idea how big it was going to be. They had no idea how popular it was going to be. I don't think they're just after money. The thing is, Hearthstone, for the majority of players, is still free to play. So they have to offer some things that people who want to throw money at this game, like me, who play it all the time and think basically that anything that they put out is worth the dollars because it provides me with so much entertainment. I mean, God, I do a show about it. I play the crap out of ladder. Like, I mean, I watch esports, like I watch the tournaments, like I get so much out of this game that anytime they give me an option to pay for something, I'm throwing my dollars at them. So,
Mm.
you need people like me to support the people who can't or won't or whatever, who actually just play for free. There needs to be a balance there. You need to have people like me to support people like them. And
Mm.
so I have absolutely no problem paying for things like new portraits, even though I do believe $10 is a little bit pricey. But I don't mind paying for that kind of stuff because it keeps Hearthstone going. It gives them, it gives them the money, it gives them the support, and it shows Blizzard that people are willing to pay for this free game so that you can develop new actual features. So I don't think it's a money grab. I have no problem supporting the game. Like, that part of the argument really doesn't come into it for me. For me, it's if you have taken the time to grind out the heroes, that's that means that you're one of those super hardcore players. Like, I play all the time. I'm nowhere near 500 wins. Like, I mean, the people that I know that have golden heroes are like pro players because they're playing literally all the time. Or
Yeah.
people who are super crazy big fans and play all the time. So, like I feel like those are the people you shouldn't be pissing off by saying like your thing that took months is now worth $10. That's all.
It is weird that they would lump all that. It seems like an overstep to lump in like the 500 win stuff with the pay, the
Hmm.
pay upgrade, and I mean that's something that I'm sure they can toggle in development. Like
Hmm.
that's got to be like, okay, don't check this box this time. We'll just, they can buy everything else except for the $500 thing. And like Jimmy in the chat room is saying they don't need to bundle. We were talking about the maybe offering a bundle, and that CHEMs have gone on and saying like, no, we're not. There's no plans for a
Well,
bundle right
and that's the
now.
thing. Yeah, they've said that there's no plans for a bundle right
Mm.
now, but that doesn't mean there never will be a bundle. I'm sure we're going to see sales and bundles. I'm 100% positive. They just
Blizzard's been
haven't
pretty
known.
good with their bundles on Heroes, and
Hmm.
I would be maybe not for half price, but I could see them doing a bundle at maybe 75%.
Hmm.
But like Jimmy says, they don't need to do that. They're going to sell, and it's the same idea. There was a great article put out by Wired on the whole amiibo situation, and that like Nintendo doesn't have an amiibo problem. You do, like it's a consumer problem, not a company problem. Nintendo is selling through their stock. It's digital versus, physical products, but it's sort of the same scenario where like Blizzard is doing this to support their business,
Hmm.
and Nintendo's doing this amiibo stuff to support their business. They're not going to flood the market with Splatoon 3 packs just because you know a majority of people complain on the internet because Nintendo can't afford to have that stuff in stock, and Blizzard maybe can't afford. They've looked at the numbers and they see all the people playing free to play, and maybe they can't afford to sell these portraits at $5 a pop, and they felt like adding those gold animation unlock things was an added bonus to
Hmm.
those pros who have already unlocked their gold
Yeah.
class. Maybe what they do is they say, hey, if you got your garage to 500 wins, then you get your Magni animation.
Well,
Is that not?
and that's what I want to see. I want to see, a kind of but non-animated. I know there's another word. I just can't think of it right now. But anyways, I want a non-animated version of Magni.
Mhm.
Unless you have 500 wins, then he gets animated. That's what I want to see. That's the thing that ticks me off.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable, and you know, um, I think that Blizzard will look at this, and maybe the reason that they've announced it and said coming soon is probably because they want to see the reaction. And that's what Blizzard's always done with their games. Remember Heroes, they did a whole bunch of work and said, here's our plan for what was it? It was like a token system or an item inventory system. It
Wait,
was a
what was
while
that
ago
for? Sorry?
for Heroes of the Storm.
For heroes. I don't remember.
Well, it was in development
Hmm.
in the beta or the alpha, technical alpha, and they're like, here's what we're thinking for. It was the thing we hate about MOBAs, items, and it was like item
Oh, yeah,
progression.
yeah. Items. Yeah. Buying
It was
items.
like
Right.
it was a weird like Blizzardized system.
Esconde. Sorry. Esconde in the chat room. Totally got it. Static. I want a static image.
There you go.
Nailed it.
Yeah, a static magnet.
Static.
But yeah, I think that Blizzard listens, and the reason they put this stuff public before just dropping it on everybody is so they can see what they can get. And chat room's correcting me. Yeah, Hearthstone is probably very profitable, and they do
Hmm.
not need to sell it. But you got to think long term,
Yeah.
and I think that Blizzard is always looking to the future, and the future to stay alive requires cash and to make as much money up front
Hmm.
because Hearthstone is only going to be around as long as people support it, and you have to give them new venues to support it because I don't think people are
Well,
buying the adventure packs every day. Like
and that's the
maybe.
thing. I mean, like, I've now purchased both the adventures. I have all of the cards that I need. I don't have 100% full collection, but I have everything I need. So I haven't actually purchased anything from Hearthstone in probably, well, a BRM would have been the last thing that I purchased. So, I mean, for me, they need to give me something else to buy to get me to keep giving them money and putting money into Hearthstone. And I think that there's probably a lot of people in my situation who normally pump money into Hearthstone that are just like, you have all my money. Like there's nothing else for me to buy right now. Like, give me something else, Blizzard, and I will throw more money at you, even if it
Yeah.
is just cosmetic. Like, just give me some new heroes, and I'll throw 20 or $30 and get two or three that I really want. Like, who would I replace? Um, I have.
I saw Garrett saying like Arthas. I think Arthas would probably require a new class, but
Yeah, I don't really know who you would make unless you had.
there's
I
got
mean,
to be like
obviously
an
Arthas
alliance
was
hunter.
he was a paladin, right? So
Right.
You could, I guess, make him the alternate for Paladin. But I don't know. I think they're going to save Arthas for if they ever decide to do a Death Knight class.
Yeah. I think like there's the hunter is an obvious one. You could do an alliance night elf hunter instead of
See, and this is the thing. I couldn't think of another hunter other than Rexar. Like, there's lots of, like, ranger type characters, but
yeah.
there's no one really else in WoW lore that I could think of off the top of my head
What
that
about
was
that dwarf from the from the first World of Warcraft cinematic? He had a
the
bear.
one with the bear. Yeah.
Yeah, what's his
Just
name?
be like, random dwarf number 12.
Dwarf with bear number 2.
Yeah, and Esconde, says that it looks like they're doing Horde and Alliance factions, which again, I think that would be really cool. But at the same time, there's some characters that don't necessarily have a faction alliance. Like, I mean, Gul'dan, not technically Horde. Gul'dan is a bad guy. Horde is not bad.
Oh yeah.
Horde is yeah.
But then why is Garrosh? Isn't he?
He's Horde.
He's. I guess he's Horde. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he
So
is. He was war chief of the Horde. He is definitely aligned with the Horde. But Gul'dan isn't. Horde and orcs, not the same thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's an interesting conversation to have, and it was a matter of time before Blizzard started to look at other ways to monetize Hearthstone, and that's how free to play games work. I mean, like if you're free to play and you're offering the game to those people who don't want to put any money into it, you have to be constantly looking for new avenues for cash. And I don't think anybody should be surprised by this announcement. Definitely, voice your concerns, but don't be surprised.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that pretty much does it for our our topic this week. Geez, that went on for a really long time.
Yeah,
you got me talking Hearthstone. It's all your fault.
It's an interesting conversation. There's a reason we put it in there because it fit with sort of like the string of announcements this week and underlines the minor issue. I don't want people to think I'm blowing it out of proportion. It was a minor thing this week that caught me off guard, and I just wanted to address it. And not many people did it, but I definitely noticed it with Fallout. And it was more or less just everyone's excited about Fallout 4, but I'm not. And I'm going to publicly state that. It's like, guys, come on. If you're not excited, just don't say anything. But
Sorry, I'm totally paying attention. It's just right now we're like having a conversation in the chat room about whether the Windrunner sisters as rangers count as hunters. I'm saying no because they don't have the whole beast synergy thing. Like,
right.
Yes, rangers are archers, true, but hunters have the beast
there you
thing.
go.
Yeah, you totally could. And then also whether Gul'dan is actually Horde or not. And I do understand that he came through the Dark Portal and that was the original Horde, and I get that. But we are now in a Horde v Alliance world in World of Warcraft that is not necessarily... Yeah, Gul'dan is not part of that Horde. That is not where the Horde is now. That is not the Horde v Alliance. And if we're going a Horde hero and an Alliance hero, if that's what you're talking about, then that's not what the Horde is anymore.
Wait, you can't do Hammett because he's a card?
Yeah.
Isn't Garrosh a card?
No.
Grom
Hellscream is a card. Garrosh is a hero.
What's happening?
We're going full on WoW nerd right now.
It's happening. Help, it's happening.
Ragnarok is saying Garona would be a great rogue, and it is so true. Yep. Sure. And it's kind of funny because she's another one that's
she sort of disappeared, hasn't she? Was she even in the game?
No, she was in Warcraft 2. Yeah, then, she's the one. She murders the king, right?
She's gonna be in the movie.
Yes. Yeah.
She's played by. I don't actually know who she is. She played by that Paula person. I don't know who she's played. She's half human, half orc, which never really made much sense to me. I don't understand how that works.
I'm not going to get into that with you right now.
But seriously.
But basically, and it's kind of interesting. The rogue class, again, you're sending me off on a Hearthstone tangent. We're never going to wrap this show up.
Are you explaining to me how Garona is half human, half orc? Because I don't want to Google that, and I really don't.
No, I'm saying the rogue class is really interesting because Valera is actually, like, she's a blood elf, but she's kind of aligned with Alliance. And Garona is this, like, half orc, half human that's also kind of aligned. Like, they have these really weird kind of down the middle like they don't really go either way. It's interesting anyway. So yeah, that's
He's a half Draenei, half orc. That makes a little more sense. Orcs do like tails, right? So
and exactly, like I think Hollow Golem is saying she got retconned. I was gonna say I don't think she used to be half Draenei, half orc. I think she used to be half orc and half human.
Draenei's didn't exist in the lore when they came up with Corona. It was just orcs and humans. So yeah, it was like, well, what's the best way we can put somebody on both sides? I know, have an
Half and
orc
half.
that did it with a human. Perfect. That
Done.
makes sense.
Easy.
But Blizzard.
Okay,
Magic.
on that note, if you want to show off your TGI pride, you can head on over to slashloot.com. That's SLASHloot.com to grab yourself a Gamers In t-shirt. They have tons of other awesome shirts, including all of your other favorite podcasts like Azeroth Roundtable, Torn, Think Tank, Zombies Ate My Podcast, and The Angry Chicken. So go to slashloot.com and show off your podcast pride. That is going to do it for us tonight. We wanted to do a quick shout out and thank you to Valerie G for being our patron of the week this week. If you'd like to be a patron of The Gamers In, you can go to patreon.com/thegamersin. Our June patron hangout is going to be June 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So a reminder to everybody that we have switched our hangouts to Thursday nights, the hour before game night, on the third Thursday of each and every month. So thank you to each and every one of our patrons for making game night and the patron hangouts possible. We do have an email from Andrew, but I think we're going to skip it this week because we're running really long. So we will definitely be talking about Andrew's Smite email next week. You can visit us on the web at gamersinpodcast.com. You can also find us on AMove TV along with other fabulous podcasts, including StarCast, Into the Nexus, and The Angry Chicken. If you'd like to follow us on Twitter, please do so. You can find me, Jocelyn, at GISGamer, Ryan is at RMurphy, and don't forget to follow the show at The Gamers In. The video versions of all our episodes can be found on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/JocelynMoffat. You can also find us on Facebook and Google+. If you'd like to email the show and let us know what you think about Fallout 4 or Hearthstone, the new quote-unquote heroes, you can do so by emailing info@gamersinpodcast.com. So thanks for staying at The Gamers In, and remember, tune in next week. Bye, everybody.
Get your splat on.